I usually start with just grabbing a magazine and just starting to go through it, looking for images, little parts of images that I think will make interesting elements. Sometimes it's very simple, like here's a fox, for instance. I know I'm gonna want that for something. Then other things that are just clearly going to be parts of things, like here's some nice legs. I think I can use that. I mean, it's all a matter of personal taste, of course. Sometimes it'll just be something like an interesting fold of cloth, you know, that could work as an element, because we're going for purely surreal compositions. So it doesn't even have to be something that's logical. It can just be something that's pretty, something that is going to work in a larger context. But things like this, beautiful jewelry, you can clip this out, make something nice about that. And then also, I'm a great lover of parts of bodies, like hands. I use a lot of hands. Another thing I love is just very striking shapes, like this apple. But also, I try to vary the size. You can get some large pieces that might work for an entire portion of a composition, and also textures. Like the texture of this jacket is beautiful. It's got lots of reflections and colors, and things like jewelry, bracelets, those come in very handy as well. So when you have all your elements, your things that are cut out, and you kind of just spread them out a little bit and take a look at some of the things that you have. I generally like to start with the background. That's the easiest thing. That's usually the largest pieces are the background. So using a little bit of logic here, even though we're not doing a realistic rendering or anything, you kind of want to have some basis in reality. Then we just start taking things and arranging them and seeing what we get. I mean, sometimes things just kind of fall together and you're like, oh, that works. That's nice. And also you want to have points of focus. So human figures, of course, are cool. Animals, like Mr. Fox here, have certain areas that draw the eye. So big, bold elements, like a nice lion. It's very cool. And then sometimes you have to fill in the background. It's a little too busy maybe, so something like that might work. I also like shapes that are irregular, with things protruding out. Maybe a surreal element like that. Those things that kind of draw you in. Here's the background pretty much put together. Kind of a nice piece right there, but I'm going to add to it. Here it is, pretty much assembled. Looks good. It's got a nice balance to it. But sometimes you want to add a little bit of extra, so I'm going to try to do that. So I just added a few little items to pop it out a little more, make it more interesting. Some bugs, blue corn here. These are actually pearls, but They go with the corn, a little earring for the lion and some images. And I touched up a few things like the fox to make him pop a little bit more. That's about it.